offer people the opportunity for pain relief, right, and improve their quality of life.
Dr. Renee Dietke. She has a doctorate in natural health. She's been empowering people with her knowledge. But before I was ever a doctor, I was a patient. And that's how all of Hello and welcome back to Natural Talk with Angel. Our guest today is Eleanor Baker. Eleanor is a registered and licensed dietitian and with a master's of science in nutrition and dietetics. She's also the owner of Elevated. As a nationally ranked Division I cross-country track athlete in college, Eleanor saw firsthand the impact of proper nutrition practices and the impact that they had, on performance. In the process of completing her undergrad and her master's degree in nutrition and dietetics, she began to understand how monumental a balanced nutrition and wellness plan could be for preventative health care and longevity. Eleanor started Elevated Nutrition Wellness as a way to provide exceptional performance enhancement and preventative health care in a holistic manner. She understands the exceptional health care is a progressive process, not always a quick fix. So having an expert to guide one along the way helps to catalyze one's success and result in improved outcomes. She had a vision to give Elevated a community access to their practitioners at their fingertips via telehealth, which started in 2016. Since then, she's exceeded expectations, working with amazing individuals and companies such as the PGA Tour, Jacksonville Jaguars, the University of Florida Athletics, Florida Institute of Technology Athletics, St. Paul's by the Sea, Crunch Fitness, and many, many more. Welcome, Eleanor. Please tell us a little bit about yourself, your backstory. How did you really get into all of this?
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me on. I'm just super excited to be here and share a little bit and learn more about your expertise as well. But yeah, so I started off in dietetics with a passion for sports nutrition. As you mentioned, in cross country and track, we did a lot of heavy training, and I found that through being cognizant about what I was eating and the timing and frequency of it, I was able to recover 24 to 48 hours faster than my peers, and that allowed me to excel greatly in athletics while keeping good grades in the classroom and moving forward with that. So as I progressed into grad school and doing internships in the hospital, I found that there was a lack of preventative care that clients had access to. So instead of talking to someone for 15 minutes, handing them some pamphlets in the hospital and saying, good luck, I wanted to help people prevent people from getting to that state in their health to where they needed more corrective care afterwards. So my goal with one-on-one consulting and the group coaching programs that I've created is to help shift the culture of America to a happier and healthier one through simple nutrition and lifestyle practices that can be easily implemented regardless of who you are, where you live, in a very sustainable manner. So I'm just super excited and passionate about what I do. It never feels like I'm working, but it's been a very rewarding journey so far, and looking forward to getting more into it.
That is awesome. Well, I am really excited to hear a little bit more about how you do some of these things. I noticed on your website you had a tab for balanced performance, which I think is one of your programs, correct?
Yep. So the In Balance Performance Program is a 12-week long program where we walk individuals through my 6-step process that is a holistic approach towards optimizing health. So each pillar is very important. Typically, when people think about creating good health, we think of nutrition or exercise, but really it's a lot more than that. but it doesn't have to be rocket science. So teaching people the tools and skill sets that they need to create more balance in their lifestyle is going to help them develop that self-awareness that they need to be able to notice when they're getting off track with their health in a day or a week, as opposed to a month or multiple months, as we're seeing with 2020 that seem to have gotten away from people. So helping people develop that self-awareness and understand each component. So we dive into mindset in the form of goal setting and creating a positive progressive mindset, because a lot of times our headspace can tend to get in our way when we're trying to improve our health. The second component is on rest. It is really, really important, not only for us to be energized throughout the day, but also to allow our body to detox and reset its hormonal balance. Rest is a key component. The third element that we get into is nutrition. So creating a very balanced nutrition and diet that we work with. So I'm firmly believe in the 80-20 rule. And in my eyes, that's about 80% plant-based, 80% unprocessed, and 20% you have some animal products, you have a little bit more leeway in there. So it's not a restrictive diet, because if you look at the research, diets really don't work. It's about when people diet heavily or on a very restricted diet, they tend to rebel in one way or another. So you might be able to stick to it for 30 days, but after that, you're going to be like, man, I don't know about being vegan. I really need a steak. And, you see these rebellious tendencies. So if we're constantly restricting ourselves, saying no cookies, no sugar, no coffee, I don't know about you, but all I'm going to want is a coffee or a cookie. So creating a lifestyle that is sustainable. I use this word a lot, but it's something that you can do for your life, not just for 30 days, because you need to be able to have these other elements. Like the fourth one that it brings me to is connection, making sure that you're able to keep strong ties to your family and friends. If you're having a really restrictive diet and you can't go out to eat, or you can't go and enjoy a potluck with your grandma, then that's going to really bump into that connection element, and you're going to start to isolate. That's not good for your health. If you're looking at the research, loneliness is a key driver for stress. It creates a lot of abnormal behaviors like excessive drinking, excessive cravings. So we want to make sure that we're connecting on a regular basis, because that is really good, not only for your mental health, but if you look at the people who live the longest around the world, that connection piece, that social connection piece is really, really foundational for human health. The last two pieces is movement and environment. So movement, we think about, going to the gym, working out, running around, but also thinking about movement as you're going throughout your day. So are you walking regularly? Are you taking stretch breaks? Our body is not meant to sit in front of a computer all day and type away. It's meant to be in motion. Only recently have we started to create a more sedentary lifestyle. If you look at the timeline of humans, when we were in our hunter-gatherer phase, we typically walked around 10,000 steps a day. And then as we went into farming, we were typically around 10 to 15,000 steps a day. Now in sedentary lifestyle, the average is 8,000 steps a day. And that was in 2016, I believe I saw the statistic. And I would honestly say most people are getting between 2,000 and 4,000 steps a day, which is absolutely not good. And it's reflected in the health of our entire nation, which if you look at the statistics, is resulting in 70% of Americans being overweight or obese. So we really need to be very cognizant about how we're structuring our lives, how we're impacting each other, and what those choices are having as a reflection on our own health. Which brings me to environment. So making sure that you're getting outside on a regular basis is something that everybody should be incorporating on a daily basis. Not only is exposing yourself to sunlight early on in the day going to be great for resetting your circadian rhythm, which affects your sleep, but it's also going to be a great stress reliever. It encourages more movement in your lifestyle. And it helps you to get some clarity, which can create more creativity. If you're a professional or looking to advance yourself in your career, that creativity, that headspace is really important to help you um, have good work output as well. But in the environment module, we're also talking about how to reduce the amount of waste that you create. So on a small scale, every day, if you throw a plastic water bottle in the trash can, it's not a big deal. But if you look at your habits compounded on a large scale, the health of our environment is essential to our own human health. If you're looking at the research, like for example, coral, we're seeing the amount of coral die off in epic proportions. At least 50% of the coral in the world is gone. And that's because the water temperature is heated 2 degrees. While that might not seem like much, think about if your body was heated up 2 degrees. So if we're not taking care of our environment appropriately, or creating communities that foster being able to get outside and being more cognizant of the natural surroundings that we're in, then that's going to have an impact on a larger scale, which is going to make it a lot more difficult to be a human in a less inhabitable environment.
Wow. You've covered a lot of my questions right there. um, I was going to ask you about, if it was just about food, but you really showed us that goes far beyond just food. And even in the environmental part of that, not taking care of the earth, that's a big part of our depletion with our minerals and vitamins and things like that within our food that we do
Right.
grow today.
Yeah, we want to make sure that we're having very I feel like sustainable is getting overused in this interview, but very sustainable agricultural practices, because if we're only planting the same 3 crops, typically wheat, corn, and soy, to try and replenish certain nutrients, it may be replenishing nitrogen and phosphorus, but we're losing a lot of the other nutrients in our food sources. So if you look at, for example, the nutrient density of spinach, that a lot of those micronutrients that we need for optimal human health has decreased. So I used to not be a big fan of supplementation, but honestly, you kind of do need a multivitamin if you're eating a lot of conventional foods, just to make up for the amount of nutrients that are not found in our food anymore, which is unfortunate. So learning to create better agricultural practices that do put a lot more nutrients back into the soil, having different ecosystems of plants on the same cropland can be really effective for replenishing those nutrients to the soil, utilizing fisheries on farms to help feed water into those plants, but also utilize the feces essentially from the fish to fertilize those plants, is a great way to create a more sustainable ecosystem that not only enriches our food, but helps us thrive more as humans without additional supplementation. So looking at the nutrient density of foods too, you want to make sure that you're shopping locally, because not only is that supporting your community, your local community, it's reducing the impact of fuel that it takes to get that food to you, but it's also increasing the nutrient density of your food. So if you think about it, if you're eating a tomato from China, likely that tomato's been in travel for, a couple days to a week. And if you look at the nutrient density of a tomato when it's first picked, it's going to taste the best, one. And the nutrient density is going to be highest when it is picked at peak season. And as it stays off the vine, it's no longer getting nutrients, and we're seeing that nutrient decrease. So we're having a less nutrient food once it gets to our plate. So by going to farmers markets and getting your food sourced locally, or even starting a garden, you can have really, really delicious food that is much better for you. And I don't know about you, but I love good tasting food. So I try to find the highest quality food that I can that is local.
That is awesome. And I'm no gardener. I do not have a green thumb. My husband will tell you I am the worst at trying to grow. I've tried, but I kill everything. So my friend told me about a grow tower, I guess they call it. She
Yep.
keeps
Yep.
telling me you can't, you're not going to mess it up. I'm, I'm thinking about investing in one because I would love to be able to have fresh fruits and vegetables, that I can go out there and pick and say, yeah, I grew this.
Yeah.
And I know it's
And
full
it's
of
like
the vitamins and nutrients.
100%. And it's exciting too, like when you're able to grow something and share it with others. When I had a house back in Jacksonville, I grew a bunch of cucumbers once, and they grew so much that I was just like giving it out to everybody. I was like, please take some of these cucumbers. But like everybody loved getting the cucumbers, and it created that community piece, which is such a beautiful thing from just like giving out the excess that I had. And I think the grow towers are great. If you look at design, having plants in your environment is a great way to help you reduce any stress or anxiety, stay focused, create a calm space, and it oxygenates the air. It filters out any toxic particles. There's actually a study that was done by NASA that looks at different particular plants and what toxins they remove or what pollutants they remove from your air. So not only are plants pleasant to look at, but it's improving the air quality of your environment. So I am a big fan of having plants in every room that you can.
That's awesome. I read something a while back about different plants that you had inside your home, and some of them were better for giving off more oxygen. Some of them were better for cleaning the air, and it was amazing the information that you. Up until then, I always thought a plant was a plant.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a total rabbit hole, and it's cool to go down and explore. There's so much to learn about it.
Yes, there is. So let's get back to you. And what is the end result for people after they take your course? What is it that they can expect?
It's funny. I asked one of my clients to give me a testimonial after she finished, and she was like, I don't think I can fit it in a sentence or two. Like, I would have to write multiple pages on how this affected me. So one of the big things is it increases a lot of self-awareness. So that mindfulness is reflected not only in work performance, but it's also helping people, again, stay on track, help them to navigate any challenges that they come across much easier in their health. So instead of eating junk food for a week or 2 weeks and then starting to be like, okay, we need to get back on it. It's okay, I kind of fell off the bandwagon for a day or maybe a couple meals. Let's get back on it. Let's create that healthy habit to where it's something you don't have to think about as much. Some of the big things that the programs have also helped people with is reducing stress and anxiety. So in the first module, we're doing a lot of prioritization and goal setting. What I found is really highly driven people who are successful or are well on their way to being there tend to take on a lot. So they tend to have multiple goals, or they have a lot of free floating goals. So what we do is create three major goals or three top priorities that they're working towards and streamline their efforts for that, as opposed to saying, I would like to be healthy. We're like, okay, we want to meal prep on Sunday and work out for 30 minutes every morning. So it's creating a lot more structure, which helps them to say no to a lot more opportunities that are not helping them get to where they need to be. It's easy to say yes, it's much harder to learn to say no. But once you do, the power of saying no, thank you can be very, very impactful and can really help you streamline your health as well as your success.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And of course, they have you as their accountability partner slash coach.
Right. Yeah. And that accountability piece is really essential because most of us are very well educated. We know what eating healthy generally is. We know we need to exercise, but a lot of times people fall short of achieving their goals because they don't have that accountability piece in place. It's easy to say, okay, I'm going to do this. And then you get distracted by your work or your family or other things. And that self-care tends to move its way down to the bottom of the priority list. So we tend to love to make a list of all the things we have to do for work and for our career, and for our family. But a lot of times we forget to put ourselves at the top. The analogy that I like to make is, think about it when you get on a plane. I know some people probably haven't been on a plane. So let's dream about a day that we were once on a plane and they're giving the little safety spiel. And they're like, okay, if we're having any issues, you'll have the masks come down. Make sure to put your mask on first before you can help someone else. And this goes for your self-care as well. If you're not taking care of yourself appropriately, you're going to be less effective in being a positive member in your community, in your family, and in your workplace as you're going along. So you might be able to help somebody out for a little bit as you're prioritizing them first, but in the end, you're going to not be taking care of yourself, which might make you stressed, anxious, depressed, or just feeling like you're chasing after trying to help other people all the time when you really need to prioritize yourself so you can help those others a lot better.
I could not have said that better myself. That is awesome. Thank you so much for being here with us today. You've given us a lot of food for thought. And I wanted to give you opportunity to let people know where they can find you, how they can contact you.
Yeah, you can certainly go on to elevatednutritionandwellness.com and find more information about that In-Balance Performance Program or my one-on-one coaching. Or you can follow me on social media at elevated.nutrition on Instagram and Facebook.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And we will be posting links to her website and putting her social media accounts below the video. Thank you again for being here with us. You have a great day and we'll see y'all next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for having me.